In this video, we are going to discuss standard score. When we say standard score, it is also known as z-score. It is the equivalent value of a raw score expressed in terms of the mean with the symbol mu and the standard deviation with the symbol sigma of the distribution. It measures the distance of any particular raw score with the symbol x from the mean in standard deviation units. Kapag ang given ay z-score or standard score, ibig sabihin ang value ng mean ay 0 at ang value naman ng standard deviation ay 1. To get the value of z-score, we have this formula. Z-score is equal to raw score minus mean all over standard deviation. Ginagamit ang formulang ito kapag ang given sa problem ay raw score. Ibig sabihin, yung value ng mean ay hindi 0 at yung value naman ng standard deviation ay hindi 1. Let's have example number 1. A random variable x has a mean of 10 and a standard deviation of 2.5. Find the corresponding z-score for x equals 17. So first, we have to identify the given in the problem. Using the formula, z equals x minus mu all over sigma. So for the given, the value of x or the raw score is 17. The value of the mean or the mean in the problem is 10. And the standard deviation is 2.5. Using the formula for standard score or z-score, that is z equals the raw score, 17, minus 10 as the mean, all over the standard deviation, which is 2.5. Using your calculator, 17 minus 10 is 7 divided by 2.5. That is approximately 2.80. Example number 2, a word problem. The annual profit of DG Company is normally distributed with a mean of 73 million pesos a year and a standard deviation of 3.25 million pesos. Find the z-score or the standard score pertaining to the number of branches having a sales of 80 million pesos. So here, using the formula for standard score or z-score, we have z equals x minus mu all over sigma. We have the given. For the mean, we have 73 in million. For the standard deviation, from the problem, we have 3.25 in million. And for the raw score or X, we have here the sales, we have 80 million pesos. Given the formula and the given, we have to evaluate, substitute. Z is equal to the raw score 80 minus 73 as the mean, all over 3.25 as the standard deviation. 80 minus 73, that is 7, divided by 3.25, using your calculator, we can have z is equal to 2.15. That is the standard score or the z-score. Example number 3, a word problem. A soft drink machine is regulated so that it discharges an average of 200 milliliters per cup. If the amount of drink is normally distributed with a standard deviation equal to 15 milliliters, what is the probability that a cup contains less than 190 milliliters? In this problem, we have to identify first what is asked. In here, the problem or the unknown is the probability that a cup contains less than 190 milliliters. So, hindi lang simple kung kunin natin yung z-score or standard score, but we are going to determine the probability or the area that a cup contains less than 190 milliliters. So first, we are going to determine the given in the problem if we have this unknown. Based from the problem, our mean is 200 milliliters per cup. The standard deviation is 15. And the raw score that is in the unknown or in the question, we have here the 190 milliliters. So if we are going to transfer this one into a normal curve, that is like this. So given the mean, which is at the center, we have here 200. And take note, the standard deviation defines the width of the curve. So if we are going to observe the numbers, 200 minus 185, that is 15. 185 minus 170, that is 15. So from 170 to 185, the spread of this or the width of this is 15. Where is 190? 185, after 185, so nandito yung 190. Since in the problem, the keyword is less than, so yung shadean natin, because yung tinatanong is probability that a cup contains less than 190 milliliters. So from 190 dito, we are going to shade to the left of the curve. So these numbers are less than 190. 155 is less than 190. 170, 185 is less than 190. So from 190 to the right, that is the shaded part. So from the question, we are going to get the probability of the shaded portion. The portion or the shaded portion is the probability that a cup contains less than 190 milliliters. So next step is to use the formula for the standard score or z-score. Because in the given, yung mean natin is 200, the standard deviation is 15, and yung raw score natin is 190. So ang gagawin natin para maging ma-transfer or ma-convert natin into normal score, kailangan yung mean ay 0 at yung standard deviation ay 1. So to do that, we're going to use this formula. So we have z, or the z-score is equal to the raw score, 190, minus 200 as the mean, all over 15 as the standard deviation. So using your calculator, 190 minus 200, that is negative 10, divided by 15, and that is negative 0.67. This is the standard score or the raw score. So to draw that, based in the previous slide, less than negative 0.67. So parehas lang yung itsura niya dun sa previous slide natin na normal curve. We have here the z is negative 0.67 to the left because we have here the keyword less than. Take note, the center or ang mean na dito ay 0 at yung standard deviation ay 1. So we have to get the probability because yung tinatanong, the probability that a cup contains less than 190 milliliters. So first, we have to get the probability of this. But before that, we have to take note that the probability from 0 to the right, or I mean to the left, is 0.5 or 0.50. So yung kalahati ng normal curve ay 0.50. We are going to get also the probability from negative 0.67 to the mean or to 0. So those are unknown. So using the standard normal table, we're going to get the probability of negative 0.67. Again, if we have a negative z-score, just omit the negative sign for us to use the standard normal table for z. So 0.67. The area or the probability, that is 0.2486. This is the probability from negative 0.67 to the mean or to 0. So here, lalagay na natin yung area 0.2486 since na it's obvious naman na hindi nangalahati yung shaded portion, so we're going to apply case number 4 or we're going to subtract these two areas. The difference, that is the probability of the shaded portion, or that is the probability of z less than negative 0.67, and that is equal to 0.2514. So here, the final answer, the probability that a cup contains less than 190 milliliters is 25.14%. What if there are 1,000 cups? Kung bibilangin natin, ilan ba yung 25.14% sa 1,000 cups? So kapag yung tanong sa problem ay how many, so we are going to determine the number of cups. But kung ang tanong sa problem is what is the probability, so that is in percent form or in decimal form. If your question, how many cups, yung 25.14% sa 1,000, less than 190 milliliters, so all you have to do is to multiply 1,000 by the decimal form of 25.14%, that is 0.2514. That is equal to 251.4. The rule, since nawala namang 0.4 na cup, so palagi iyang whole number, kasi nagbibilang tayo or the number of cups is an example of a discrete variable. So the rule here is to round up. When we say round up, we are going to get the next integer. Kahit pa 0.4 yung decimal. Okay? So there are 252 cups that contain less than 190 milliliters. So yung 25.14% sa 1,000 ay 252 cups. Example number 4. Same situation. A soft drink machine is regulated so that it discharges an average of 200 milliliters per cup. If the amount of drink is normally distributed with a standard deviation equal to 15 milliliters, what is the probability that a cup contains more than 224 milliliters? So in the problem, what is asked? What is the probability that a cup contains more than 224 milliliters? So to answer this, let us first identify the given in the problem. The mean is 200 milliliters per cup. The standard deviation is 15. And the raw score that can be found in the question, we have 224 milliliters. If we're going to draw the normal curve of this, that would be like this. The mean here in the normal curve, nasa center siya, we have 200. And you can say that the standard deviation is 15 by observing the numbers on the baseline. 215 minus 200, we have 15. 200 minus 185, that is 15. So that is the width of the normal curve. Kung makita natin yung raw score, nasa left side ng normal curve, we have 224. Since in the problem, the keyword is more than, so yung shaden natin is from 224 to the right of the curve. In the question, we are going to determine the probability or the area that is in percent form or in decimal form. So the shaded portion of the normal curve, we have to determine the probability or the area using the formula for standard score or z-score. Given the problem, or given in the problem, we have mean 200, standard deviation, we have 15, and the raw score is 224. Using the formula, just substitute. We have z is equal to 224 minus 200 all over 15. So using your calculator, that is approximately 1.60. In the normal curve, we have here the shaded portion, but take note the baseline, iba lang yung numbers niya. So yung dating 200 na mean, ngayon nasa standard normal curve na tayo, we have mean as 0, and yung 224 ay nasa 1.6. So from 1.6, that would be shaded to the right. So yung kukunin natin dito ay yung probability, yung unknown is the probability of z greater than, because the other term for more than, that is greater than with the symbol 1.60. So para makuha natin yung probability nitong symbol na to or itong shaded portion na to, yung probability, we have to get first, or we have to take note that from 0 to the right, or yung half ng normal curve to the right, that is 0.50 or 0.5. Another, we have to get the probability from 0 to 1.60. You can find this, or you can find this in the standard normal table for z. And that is 0.4452. That is the area of the probability of 0 to 1.60. So, it's obvious naman na yung shaded portion ay hindi lumagpas sa kalahati ng normal curve. So, we are going to apply case number 3, and that is to get the difference of these two areas. We have the probability of z greater than 1.60, and that is 0.0548. Therefore, the probability that a cup contains more than 224 milliliters is 5.48%. So, konting part lang siya. So, question. Since na yung sa problem, ang tinatanong lang is yung probability or yung percentage ng cup contains more than 224 milliliters, what if there are 1,000 cups? How many cups contain more than 224 milliliters? So, yung percentage is 5.48 sa 1,000. So, ilan kaya yun? Ilang cups kaya yun? By just multiplying 1,000 by the decimal form of 5.48%, that is 0.0548, that is equal to 54.8. The rule here is to always round up. Proceed to the next higher integer. So therefore, there are 55 cups that contain more than 224 milliliters. Example number 5. Same problem, but the question here is, what is the probability that a cup contains between 191 and 209 milliliters? So that is the question. So for us to answer this question, let us first determine the given in the problem. The mean, the standard deviation, and also the raw scores. In the problem or in the question, there are two raw scores. But first, let us identify the mean. We have 200. The standard deviation is 15. And the raw scores are 191 milliliters and 209 milliliters. If we are going to draw this in a normal curve, given that the mean is 200 and the standard deviation or the width of the curve is 15, so that would be like this. So from 191 to 209. So this is the shaded portion of the curve. So ang tinatanong dito ay yung probability ng shaded portion. So the process would be use the formula for standard score given the raw score. So mayroon tayong dalawang solutions dito. What I mean is, we are going to get the z-scores using the raw scores, 191 and 209. For the first one, using 191 as the raw score, minus 200 for the mean, all over 15. Using your calculator, that is negative 0.60. The second raw score, we have 209. Using the formula, we have z is equal to 209 minus 200 all over 15. Using your calculator, that is positive 0.60. In the normal curve, between these raw scores, I mean z-scores, that is from negative 0.6 or 0.60 to the positive 0.60. Then shade this portion. So pareho lang po yung itsura nito doon sa previous slide natin for the normal curve. It's just that itong given ay z-score na. So here, we're going to get the probability from negative 0.60 to z-score 0.60. But before that, let us first get the probability from negative 0.60 to 0 or to the mean, and the probability from 0 to 0.60. So, using the standard normal table for z, so pareho lang naman yung z-score, that is, yung isa negative 0.60 at yung isa 0.60. So, just omit the negative sign. So, pareho lang naman, we have 0.60. So, the area, that is 0.2257. So, here, to write that, from negative 0.60 to 0, that is 22.57%. And from 0 to 0.60, pareho lang, 0.2257. So we'll be using case number 2 here. That is different sign. Yung isa negative, yung isa positive. So ibig sabihin, yung rule na gagamitin natin is we're going to add the two areas. That is according to case number 2. So the sum would be the probability from negative 0.60 to 0.60, that is 0.4514. Thus, the probability that a cup contains between 191 and 209 milliliters is 45.14%. What about if you will be asked the 45% of 1,000 cups? What if we have 1,000 cups? So, ilan kaya ang cups ang nagko-contain ng 191 and 209 milliliters between? So, all you have to do is to multiply 1,000 by 0.4514 or the decimal form of this percent. That is equal to 451.4. The rule is to round up the product. That is the next higher integer, and that is 452. Thus, there are 452 cups that contain between 191 and 209 milliliters.